All right, how you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. I am working on a couple different cars right now. This one being, which I'm going to make into a Joey Logano 2013 Chicago nationwide victory that he had, and just turned it into a gold car. I was thinking about doing a Ryan Blaney car as this Hertz car, which is what I'm making this one as a Ryan Blaney car, but figured I'd make this Joey Logano one because he won the race at Chicago. He also won, I think, at Dover. I was doing a little research earlier, and just figured I would go ahead and do a gold car for a win. I've done other gold cars, but I kind of like to think that collectors might have a little bit more interest in a gold car that celebrates a race winning paint scheme. So that's kind of what I'm after here, with the gold rims and basically everything gold. I've pre-painted some areas here where the black will be, and I didn't want the gold showing, so I kind of came around this wheel well here because the black kind of starts here with a piece that comes across the front here, which is right there, and then it meets up with this large side piece here, and so I've got this painted here across the bottom. I've also pre-painted black across here, and already did a little bit on the back. I've already got those decals in place, and then along, of course, this side as well. So I don't think that's 100% necessary, but I like to do it, and I've showed you that before, so that's kind of where I'm at. I think this lower front valence gets black as well across here, and I'll do that, and I think that'll be it, because I was looking at it, the spoiler was actually yellow, and I don't know if there were roof lines. I'd have to double check the pictures again to see if there were yellow roof lines or black roof lines. If they're yellow, I'll leave it the way it is. If it's black, I'll do that. So I've got the decals in the water, just put them in there. So yeah, so that's going on. I finished up this 1998 Matt Kenseth Rockingham Win car. Real happy with the way it turned out. I think, hindsight 2020, I should have made this black circle a little bit higher up on this rear quarter panel. If I made it a little bit higher up, then I wouldn't have had to tuck the Y on the Lycos. But I don't think it looks bad. So yeah, real happy with. Actually, I should touch that up with some silver right there around that little fuel over fill area. I should do that. So yeah, so Mr. MB, this will be coming your way. Again, real happy with the finish and everything. Little overlap on the 17, but again, hindsight, I probably should have moved the 17 a little bit closer to the M, but I just didn't think that I would have any conflict here with these quarter panel or these little front fender side decals, but I did just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm real happy with the way this car has turned out. So yeah, hope you like it too. It'll be coming in this box. This was a Jeff Gordon car. I was able to gently peel off the little sticker that was here. It's a NASCAR Classics. I think they came out in 2018, and it was Jeff Gordon's 1998 winning car. So it was a Chevy from '98. So went ahead and used that. So it'll come in this box. Yeah, happy with that end product. I also just finished this morning. I was working this Ryan Newman Liberty National pink car that he drove at Talladega, and yeah, I'll go over this real quick. I'm happy with it. One thing I'm not happy with is the roof decal is just short. See, on the back here and on the front, it just comes up short. So I trim the sides of it down so that it fits, it doesn't hang over this this roof line here or here. So I trim it down so it goes in between there, but really don't have anything to extend it, so it is what it is. This back piece on the trunk lid is a little challenging. I paint the spoiler area here first, and then I have to trim this down, so you can see it barely fits in here, and I had to trim this bottom area of this decal ever so slightly to get it to come in here. And the roof, I'm sorry, not the roof lines, the trunk pins and the hood pins are really prominent on this die-cast body. They really stick up. You can see that. And so when you put the decal on, you know, you really have to push it down over top of that to get it to conform. I used some microsole and you know, just my fingers, and actually I used a little bit, you know, ever so slightly, just kind of pushing it, you know, around with my tweezers to get it to kind of conform. But yeah, you've got to trim that down and do your best with that. Pre-painted the spoiler as well as a little bit on this bottom here that was black to make sure that that gets full coverage, because the whole trunk decal is one decal and it's all black. Pre-painted the side skirts here, and I'm glad I did, because this decal doesn't come all the way down. I mean, I could have brought it all the way down, but I was pretty happy just to leave it up a little bit, because it kind of aligns, like you have this little pink. So if you look at the pink line, right, so this comes off of here and it comes up here, and it just, you know, it just keeps going. So if this was lower, it might look a little weird, but anyways, I'm happy with the way that turned out. The front was a little challenging. You know, you've got to put this piece in first, and then this piece here, and then you can put in the headlight piece. So again, using microsole, getting it to conform in there pretty nicely. There's a couple little creases I couldn't quite work out. There's always seems to be one right here in the center on this Chevy hood, just because it kind of comes to a point here. But I haven't started sealing it yet. You can see a little bit, I won't say better, but it's actually worse. But I'm trying to push it down to get that to kind of conform a little bit more. Like I said, I haven't sealed anything yet. So what's interesting that was actually nice is the hood pins on the decal set line up perfectly with the hood pins on the car. That's pretty rare, actually very rare for that to happen. And so you know, so as I push that down, the hood pins that are in the decal are right over top of that area. So yeah, but you know, I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, I think I got a little bit too much black right there, just a little bit, but I think the gray matches. If you look at the picture, I think the gray matches pretty well. Once I get this all done and some coats of sealer on it, this lower valence has a ever so slightly white, so I'll use my white paint pen here. Oops, that's a gray one. My white paint pen here to just put a nice, ever so slightly white line across this bottom here. I'll go over it a couple times, and yeah. So I don't know. I think a Ryan Newman or 164 collector might be interested in this car. And so so yeah. Yeah. The other thing, when I've mentioned this in my last few videos, when you have the fuel door on the diecast body way over here, and this is one decal. It just doesn't line up, so it's just unfortunate, but that's the way it is. So yeah, so that's getting close to being done. I spent some time on some repair work on this furniture row car. I just painted a little black, so I gotta watch where I'm grabbing it. Once you seal a car, and I had sealed this with at least 5 coats of sealer, the microsole really doesn't work very well at trying to get the decals to move. It just doesn't, because you've sealed it, right? However, if you have scratched it or ripped it, the microsole now has a, the door's kind of been opened, right? The door's been cracked open, and the microsole can work and get underneath that decal, which is underneath the sealer, and then you can work that off. And so that's kind of what I've done here. I've removed all of the decals that I wanted to remove from the side here. I still need to, I'll paint some orange here, but I use a lot of microsole to get those decals to come up, and it was very painstaking. I went ahead and left this here. I'm probably going to take the rest of this little, I think that says Edelbrock, that little red, off there. But anyways, I'm going to keep the headlights in place and all that, and then I'll be able to. I use some of the polish, put some of the clear sealer on it, and I'm ready to start putting some coats of this burgundy on. And what I'll do with that is I'll spray it into a plate, one of my paper plates, and I'll just take a brush and just apply a light coat, let it dry, probably put a coat of sealer on it, and do it again. I'll probably have to put 2 or 3 coats on to get that to match with what's already there, and then I'll be able to start putting the painting it orange and putting the decals on. So yeah. On this side, as I was removing the side sponsors here over top of this decal, a little bit of the black came up because I was using so much microsole, so soft. I was able to get the decals off, but marred it a little bit. My hope and prayer is that the decal set, the new decals will cover all this up. So yeah, so that's what's going on there. But it's a work in progress, no doubt about it. As you can see, it's already shined up a little bit because I've put a couple coats of clear sealer on it. And it just, if you go back to my last video, you can see, the car was handled a lot, obviously by the customer as well as by me as I was working it, and that really mars the glossy finish of it. And so it's just kind of a word of, I don't want to say wisdom, but and again, customers buy the car, they can do whatever they want with it, right? They can drive it off a cliff, they can smash it with a hammer, they can smudge it all up they want, right? They paid for it, it's their car. But if you really want to keep it glossy and keep it shiny and as a high quality custom, you really don't want to handle it much. I've had customers buy cars for their kids, and just obviously as an adult collector, I don't handle my cars very much, and if I do, I have the products here to add additional coats of sealer to gloss them up and protect them. But just something to keep in mind, right? If you are buying custom cars that are custom painted, sometimes hand painted, and these are water slide decals, they're very fragile. Sure, I seal them up, but they will get marred up and scratched and nicked and things like that if indeed you are handling them. So just a word of caution. I know you guys probably know that, but just something to keep in mind. So alrighty. Let's, here, I tell you what, let's do this. I'm going to do this one first. This will be a little bit challenging. So this piece comes all the way around. Completely all the way around. I'm trying to get it focused and centered as best as we can. So I'm just looking at the T right in Mustang, which I got, well, I won't say I got it perfect, but I got it as close to the center as I can. And so I'm looking at the Mustang, the horse there, to try to get that centered over the T, which is my my center point. So trying to use that to get this to come around. Looks pretty good. Always wants to go down. This always wants to go up whenever you have these curves. And then you have your creases that want to wrinkle. How's my horse doing? Looks pretty good. Tries to lift. I don't want it to lift. Told you guys before how much I don't like working on these Mustang front ends. Because you have, I mean, if you have just one layer, two layers, you know, at different levels, right? 1, 2. This layer is different than this layer, so it's close, but it's not. It's still not the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different layers, different, you know, surface depths, and it's just a pain. And I mean, and this is not that hard, right? I got all these on pretty easily, but this last piece, because of the curved area, you know, just a pain. And then you have this little area on the front here. It has a couple different layers too. And what's interesting on this car is they give you this other decal here. So that's going to go like on there. So that'll be fun. Trying to get that to line up and meet up with everything else. I've not made one of these Hertz cars before. I mean, you can buy, I think, what is it, Logano's 2013 or 2014, you know, Hertz car, you know, from Lionel. I see it on eBay for sale. You can buy it in this paint scheme already. But obviously you can't buy a gold one, so that's why I'm making it. See how these little creases. It's smaller and smaller, but they never seem to want to go away completely. that's good enough for now. Let's see how that looks. It droops down just a little bit, right? It comes around, it droops down just a little bit on both sides, but I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to complain too much about that. All right, let's see how this lines up here. Here, I tell you what, I'm going to move this over here, as I might need some as this, yeah, this wraps just a little bit underneath that wheel well. Okay. Let's get this piece on here, see what this looks like. So you guys know I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So this black and gold are I love that. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. That's not even close. I didn't even think to look to see if this lines up across here. Look at that. I ain't messing with that. I'm gonna take that off. I love the black and gold. I mean, obviously that's not a Steelers gold, but more of a New Orleans Saints color. But I just love black and gold. It's my favorite color combination. I mean, that's probably why I chose, well, I may have said this to you guys before about why I chose Matt Kenseth as my favorite driver. I'm a Ford guy, and so I had bought our first house that we lived in. I had finished the basement, and I was buying a bunch of tools and stuff like that, and I was buying DeWalt tools. And I knew DeWalt was a good name, but I also liked their color scheme, right? They're black and gold. So it just fit. And so I had some DeWalt tools, and I was a Ford guy, and I was new to NASCAR, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick a rookie driver. And that was Matt Kenseth, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. at the time. And was never really a big alcoholic drinker, so I wasn't going to be a, Budweiser. I was never a fan of red either. I mean, it's not the worst color in the world, but it was just obvious, and I definitely wasn't a Chevy fan. So it was just obvious that I was going to have Matt Kenseth as my favorite driver. So this anything that's black and gold, I have an attraction to. It's really probably bad, but whatever. As a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, I remember just being first introduced to hockey, and I was like, what the heck what's this other team that's black and gold? And it's the stinking Boston Bruins. So, I'm not a Boston fan. I mean, as a Steelers fan, you learn to hate the Patriots. But Boston is black and gold, and so I'm like, ah, crap. So I have a small little portion of my heart likes Boston Bruins, just because of their paint scheme or their color scheme. I don't know. Is that weird? I think it is. My wife thinks it is. So, any sports teams that has black and gold as their two colors, I'm gonna like, or at least be partial to, say. I think that's cool. I like it. What do you guys think? This lines up pretty well here. When I get this larger piece, I'll probably need to cut that piece into multiple pieces to make sure it lines up here. But yeah, I'm happy with that. All right, I'm really taking my good old time with this video and this and these decals here. So let's move a little bit quicker. I like to use a little micro sole around the around this area. Let me get these all done here real quick. Logano's been I don't know, I kind of liked him when he first came up, but then when he had his run-in with Matt Kenseth in 2015, when he took him out of Chicago, I think in the playoffs, Matt was winning a race, and Logano had already won a race, and Logano was racing him a little bit tough. Matt was blocking him, but then, so I didn't like him, and then, of course, Kenseth took him out at Martinsville when Logano was winning, and yeah, I was the happiest Matt Kenseth fan ever when he, took out Logano in that race. But yeah, not to get into that too much, but yeah, I've never really been a big fan of Logano, and right now I'm kind of, I don't know. I can take it or leave it. Really, all of the Penske drivers, Keselowski, Blaney. I don't know. I mean, I could take them or leave them. They win, no big deal. But even though they are, kind of driving Fords, it's definitely hard. I have to admit, it is hard when your driver starts in a Ford and then, moves around. He moved to Toyota. I was like, I didn't really like that a whole lot. I mean, it was with Gibbs. I like Gibbs. He's a good Christian man. He's not a perfect man, but, he strives to represent Christ well, be an ambassador for Christ. So, but, he's a Toyota guy. So I kind of, took it that he was driving a Toyota. I don't know if I'd ever own a Toyota. I'd probably own a Toyota before I'd own a Chevy. But anyways, yeah, when Matt started driving for Larson, I was like, oh crap, he's on a Chevy. So anyways, it's just tough as a fan when your driver changes manufacturers a lot. So, all right, what do you guys think? I'm pretty happy with this, and think it'd be a nice rare addition to a collection. So that's all for today, guys. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy, and we will talk to you soon. God bless.